Greetings and welcome to another episode of Let's Play the Journeyman Project 3, A Legacy of Time. Alright, so I've been walking around these tunnels a bit and set up most of the things correctly. Did make a small mistake. See, I figured you need to get power from all three of the furnaces to get to this. Turns out that's not entirely correct. We just need to make sure that no heat can escape. Which of course it can through these tunnels which go up into the monastery. Which makes this furnace a bigger problem because it has two vents. Now, I can't actually reach any of the vents from where I am now. So I'll have to take the long way around. But that should be sufficient. Basically, we just have to keep walking until we're past the second furnace. At which point we'll arrive at the hallway with the giant rings, which we don't have to close, and that should activate the mechanism. Second furnace. And now we just have to close this.
I'm detecting a definite shift in temperature. You did it, Gage!
Sweet, let's go back. It's not going to be quite as smoothly going back because you have to stop at each intersection if you're facing two tunnels rather than just the one. It's not like I can pre-select which tunnel I want to go into. I also don't want to accidentally trigger the mechanism so that it blocks my passage effectively. But then we'll finally be out of this hellhole. Moving on to greener pastures. And here we are.
You did it, Gage! That butter statue didn't stand a chance against your hot hand. Now let's wade through this stuff and find butter-coated enlightenment.
It is actually kind of neat that that statue was made out of butter. I mean, I know they can make statues out of butter, but I just don't really think it's a proper medium for sculpting. If you leave a sand sculpture out too long, it'll just crumble. Whereas a butter sculpture will just I start smelling bad. That should be very easy to get marks on your butter work. I mean, how many yak butter do they need for such a statue? Right, so this blackstone is a polished blackstone of common composition. Now I just need to flip this and then we'll have a straight passage into the central monastery, which will then lead us to the musical puzzle. Om mani padme I just have to keep repeating it, otherwise I might forget. And here we are. This will probably be the final Buddha before we enter the sanctuary. Provided, of course, that I can get this thing working. And let's see, which one of these was rusty?
Pod.
I think it is one. Yep. Right, let's get the oil can. The oil can. I could also use the butter, of course, but since I did bring this all the way from Atlantis. Alright, so where do we start exactly?
Om ma ni.
Oops.
Pod.
So mani pad.
Pre.
No,
Ram. Me.
that's it. So
Ma. Ni. Pod. Me.
and that did it. And this is a white stone. So did we use all our oil? No, we still have some. Let's go inside. Well, this could take a while. Which way to go? Oh, there's some stairs on this side.
This looks interesting. If I'm not mistaken, and I rarely am, the mural depicts the Buddha entering 6 different segmented realms.
So basically a pizza realm.
In that segment, the Buddha is carrying a lute, a stringed musical instrument. In that segment, the Buddha is carrying a fiery sword. In that segment, the Buddha is carrying a book. In that segment, the Buddha is carrying fire. In that segment, the Buddha is carrying a piece of fruit. In that segment, the Buddha is carrying a bowl.
Alright, so now we know. Let's go downstairs. I'm sure not all of the wall paintings are quite that interesting.
Gage, that depiction of the 6 segments we saw on the wall is duplicated on the floor of this temple. It must have great meaning to the monks of this monastery.
Yes, I'm sure it has.
Gage, the entire floor shows the 6 realms of the Wheel of Life.
Well, that's fine and all, but that doesn't really get us any closer to the artifact. And there's something in here. That's the guy with the loot. Well, he wants to hear something right then.
The inscriptions speak of the path of Siddha Biwawa. Denied Nirvana by pride, the once Siddha Biwawa found himself in the realm of the gods, complacent in their heavenly heights. Only with the Buddha's song-filled voice did he escape into the next realm, the battlefields of the Ashura's Titans.
Right, so we'll just prep the redstone and move on.
The Titans know nothing more than to fight the gods for their glittering realm and fight amongst themselves. Biwawa found himself caught within the frenzy until he followed the light of Buddha's flaming sword. The Titans cowered before it as he escaped and entered the kingdom of animals.
Right, that's the green stone.
In his new form, he hunted with animal cunning, forgetting all of Buddha's teachings. But something inside him stirred when Buddha appeared before him with the Book of Knowledge, and he learned once more. He escaped, but found himself within the bowels of hell.
Alright, so then we use the black stone.
Biwawa is an interesting name for a Siddha. It roughly means bad man. I suppose the name foreshadowed his ultimate indiscretion with pride. Here's another tale I heard of Biwawa. Well, he's bad, a Biwawa, a baddest man in Shangri-La, wiser than an Obi-Wan, a meaner than a Genghis Khan.
Oh, suddenly that reference makes a lot more sense now that I actually know the origin of that song.
Biwawa heard the howls of the damned echoing the very hatred they were punished for. Terrible flame licked all around him by day. By night he shivered in the hells of cold. Then the Buddha showed him the purifying fire that cleansed his sin, sending him traveling again to the realm of Presto.
The Presto, that's the yellow gem.
Then he found himself among the Pretos, tortured creatures tantalized by all things material. Biwawa had never felt such hunger until the Buddha descended again and let him taste the spiritual fruit. And Biwawa felt want no more. Buddha finally bade him to return to the human realm.
Well, there's only one stone left.
Humbly, Biwawa would have to begin the path anew to regain his former peace. He would need to overcome the vice of pride, the pride that made him think that he was better than others. So his atonement would only end by helping another. Then, the Siddha could be again.
And we're at the top. Facing a giant golden lotus. You'd almost think that it would smack me in the face. But I guess not.
This mural must be displaying the Siddhas, using their power over the elements to move through mountains and transmute matter. Come to think of it, I swear I've seen that man in the mural before. Do you think that Michael Jackson is really that old?
Yeah, too soon, Arthur. Too soon.
That mural shows the Siddha transforming the lotus into another form. Nice. Fine. More work. Now watch Arthur transform from simply annoyed to pretty bloody angry. I am not shouting!
Alright, so...
There are inscriptions that surround the images of this mural. I'll translate as closely as I can. The infinite Buddha came to our monastery long ago with the knowledge of 3 secrets: life, time, and matter. He spoke of the true path, a way to live by his virtues so that we could also share in his perfection. And he taught the Siddhas of matter that everything in the universe was composed of one energy that could be perceived, understood, and controlled.
Fascinating.
From these writings, it's apparent that the Sosikwi entrusted the power of transmutation with the monks of this monastery. Perhaps the Sosikwi felt that these monks had the focus and the maturity to handle such power. The other 2 symbols represent time and life. The Sosikwi must have trusted the people of Atlantis and El Dorado with those powers for a purpose.
Yes, to make it harder for us to find it. They failed. Alright, there's really nothing else here to see. So I'll just grab what I came for, although this isn't the artifact I want. It's basically a lotus. A unique lotus-shaped relic of unparalleled craftsmanship. This piece is composed of gold, precious jewels, and several unidentifiable materials. What's this? That thing was looking straight at that pilgrim whose form we now have. I guess this pilgrim must be the Siddha that they've been waiting for to return. If I'm following the logic of this place. Alright, let's get down. Because if that is true, then he is the only one that can help us with the power of transmutation. It's a neat system, but I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit worried about a stairway that can collapse in on itself. But let's get going.
The architecture in this building is beautiful. It appears to be a temple of worship or meditation.
Well, that's what most temples are for, aren't they? Anyway, I will see you all next time.